Greetings, eBay shoppers. We're going to do attempt number 2 at a video here using a different device this time. We're basically at ambient temperature there on the engine. Didn't start it yet today. We'll do a semi-cold start, and it's 80 degrees out already. Sound to it. No big clouds of smoke or anything. Well, there's our exhaust leak down there. Mufflers is the original exhaust system. Video will show anything better than the pictures go online. If it's not obvious, the hood is quite dented up, along with a lot of the other panels, which is, I want to say I'm not responsible for any of the dents that are all there. The truck was used off-road by the original owner back when you bought four-wheel drive because you needed it, not because it was fashionable. Don't know why whoever put carpets in it didn't put the other two little trim pieces for the third seat in. Kind of a mystery. I believe I have a gray third seat out of my other Suburban, although and it should be in pretty decent shape. So anybody's welcome to that if they're interested. I also have a better hood, although it's black. But that can be had for free too. So we got nice oil pressure there, and the clock does not work, but the other gauges do. So dash is cracked as normal. I got a little switch down here. This turns on and off the torque converter. The lockup makes it much more pleasant to drive. It really doesn't want the torque converter locked up until at least 55 miles an hour. I got a brand new switch for the rear AC blower and a fairly new blower. Alpine CD, although the CD part is non-functioning. There's a disc stuck in there right now, actually. So we'll take it for a little cruise here. I was really hoping that the camera worked, because I had a tripod on that, which made things a lot easier. camera. It just couldn't last long enough to make any kind of decent video. Clean truck all muddy here. It's time for some new stone, which is on the to-do list for not next week but the following week. So probably not obvious on the video, but there is some noise from the holes in the mufflers. It's not terribly loud, but it is noticeable on acceleration. If somebody does buy it and wants to drive it home, I can make another attempt to patch the holes up, and it'll usually hold for a few days, maybe even a week or so. Not obvious by the eBay Carfax report, but this truck was sold new in California, and it was in California all the way up to 2002, with a brief stay in Wisconsin, which is not the right place for this kind of truck with that cold weather. And it don't think it was ever used there in the winter in the salt, and the truck had really no salt damage on it when I got it, and the frame was really clean, and it only had a couple little rust areas back then, the main one being the panel back underneath the tailgate doors, and that was because it was all packed with sand, and the quarters were packed with sand too, which I washed out, but by then I guess it had already started to bite into the metal down inside the seams. So I went from there to Idaho, the Boise area, and then it was there from like 03 to 06 when I bought it on eBay, and then it came here. And I've tried not to use it in the winter. I've only actually had it in salt a few times, and a couple times was really light stuff, just dry on the roads. And I usually had a winter car to drive, which this isn't the greatest winter vehicle anyways. Not real keen on starting once it gets down into the 20s. You got to plug in the block heater to do that. It's probably due for glow plugs too, which is one of them things that's been on the list to do, and just never get around to it. And they're not terribly expensive. Not a huge job. So, but it runs good, drives good. Really not too many rattles. Got some creaks, and the big plastic pieces around the rear windows will creak when you flex it going over certain kinds of bumps. For a diesel, it's fairly quiet. Certainly quieter than the Fords were up through the at least the late 90s. Trade-off for that is the 6.2 does not have a whole lot of guts. It was basically to be equivalent to a 305, and they designed that back during fuel crisis number 2 in the late 70s, early 80s, and weren't really concerned with a lot of power. The countrywide fuel or speed limit, nationwide speed limit, was 55 at the time, so speed really wasn't a big concern either. Although this having the overdrive is a lot better than the gas engines, as most of those in 3/4 tons, they were all turbo 400s. With only 3 speeds, and most had 410 gears, so they are very thirsty on the highway. At least with the diesel, you get decent fuel mileage on the highway. This will actually do around 23 if you keep your speeds down to 60 to 65, and that's a real 23 adjusted for speedometer error and everything. So that's pretty respectable. And I've never really done an official fuel mileage for around town, but it's somewhere in the teens, I would say. So, well, that's it for this video, and we'll go download it and see what we got.